Have you ever stopped to think about the weight of the words you speak? Not just the casual chatter that drifts through your day, but the words that shape your reality, the words that slip out in anger, fear, or doubt. Every word you say carries power, power to build, power to destroy, power to leave a mark that lasts far longer than a moment. And yet, most of us speak without thinking, as if our words were harmless, as if they simply vanish into the air, but they don't. Every phrase, every syllable, every offhand remark plants a seed in someone else's mind, in your mind, in the life you are quietly creating. Imagine for a moment the last time a harsh word left your lips, the sting of regret that followed, the way it lingered in your chest and in the other person's eyes. Or remember a time a kind word lifted you, gave you courage, or changed the trajectory of your day. Those moments are not random. They are proof of the invisible force your words hold. The truth is, most people never pause to consider the consequences of what they say. We react, we vent, we speak to release tension, but in doing so, we surrender control over our own lives. And that is exactly why learning to control what you say is not just a skill, it is freedom. Freedom from regret, from unnecessary conflict, from words that bind you to failure and misunderstanding. There is a deep, unspoken connection between what we say and who we become. The words you speak are mirrors of your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your actions, your habits, your destiny. When you allow careless words to flow freely, you are giving the world permission to define your life for you. But when you learn to choose your words with intention, when you measure each sentence against the life you want to live, you begin to reclaim the most valuable territory you have, your own mind, your own power, your own influence. Think about the kind of life you want to lead. Do you want to be remembered for what you said in the heat of frustration, or for the way your words lifted others, inspired courage, and sparked change? Every person you meet, every interaction you have, is a chance to either contribute to chaos or to create clarity, connection, and strength. And the reward is profound. When you speak with awareness, you not only protect yourself from regret, but you also cultivate respect, trust, and influence in ways you never thought possible. This is not about perfection. It's not about never making a mistake or suppressing your true feelings. It's about mastering the pause, understanding the weight of your voice, and realizing that each word is a tool you either use wisely or waste recklessly. If you continue to speak without thought, the world shapes you in ways you cannot control. But if you learn to control what you say, you begin to shape the world, starting with yourself. You gain clarity, you gain respect, you gain power over your life. And that is a promise worth holding on to, a reason to listen closely, and a journey worth taking, because by the end of this you will understand not just the danger of your words, but their extraordinary potential. Your words are more than sounds. They are the architecture of your destiny, the quiet architects of your relationships, the compass guiding the life you are building right now. And every moment you choose to speak with awareness is a step closer to the life you have always wanted, a life where your voice commands power, purpose, and freedom. It begins here. It begins now. The first step toward controlling your words is awareness. Most people move through life reacting, responding to every impulse as if it were inevitable. Anger flares, fear grips, frustration bubbles, and the words escape before the mind can intervene. But what if you could pause? What if you could see the invisible moment between thought and speech and step into it with intention? That pause is where power begins. That pause is where freedom lives. It is not a weakness to stop. It is strength. It is courage. Because in that space, you are no longer a prisoner of emotion. You are no longer at the mercy of impulse. You are the master of your own voice. To become aware of your words, you must first become aware of yourself. Notice the triggers that push you to speak without thought. Stress, frustration, fear, or even pride, they are all signals. They tell you when your voice is about to act against your highest self. Most people ignore these signals. They shrug them off and wonder why their relationships falter, why respect is lost, why regret weighs them down. But you do not have to be most people. You can recognize these moments and treat them as opportunities. Opportunities to pause, to breathe, to choose. To speak not out of reaction, but out of purpose. To speak not to release tension, but to shape reality. Every word you are about to speak is a choice. Every choice matters. The science of human behavior shows that even a few seconds of reflection before speaking can dramatically change outcomes. The brain processes information differently when you take a moment to pause. Impulse fades. Clarity rises. Emotion is tempered by reason. And suddenly, your words carry weight. They carry intention. They carry the ability to heal, inspire, or create connection. You begin to realize that speaking without thought is a form of surrender. Speaking with awareness is a form of mastery. Think about your life as a reflection of your words. Every argument, every misunderstanding, every moment of regret started with a single sentence spoken without thought. Every compliment, every word of encouragement, every moment of influence began with deliberate speech. The power is undeniable. The responsibility is yours. To take control of what you say is to take control of your reality. You are not simply reacting to the world. You are shaping it. Every interaction becomes a canvas. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to build, to lift, to inspire. And that is a gift that no one can take away from you. Imagine the freedom of living with that control. No longer waking up weighed down by things you said in anger. No longer fearing the consequences of unfiltered words. Instead, a life where your speech reflects your values, your mind, your highest intentions. A life where people listen because they trust, respect, and feel your presence. A life where your words are instruments of progress, of courage, of transformation. This is not fantasy, it is attainable. It begins with noticing. It begins with awareness. It begins with the courage to pause, to reflect, and to speak with deliberate purpose. Every moment you hesitate before speaking, every time you choose thought over reaction, you are building a muscle of mastery. You are strengthening your emotional intelligence, your influence, and your presence. You are proving to yourself that you are not defined by the impulse of the moment. You are defining yourself by the conscious choices you make with your voice. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Soon, control over your words is no longer a discipline. It is a habit. It is instinct. It is the power to shape the life you have always wanted, one word at a time. Silence is not emptiness. It is power. It is a force that shapes the way you move through the world and the way others respond to you. Too often, we confuse silence with weakness, as if holding back our words makes us small, passive, or insignificant. The truth is the opposite. Silence is the space where thought, clarity, and strength converge. It is the moment when you refuse to be ruled by emotion and choose instead to be guided by intention. When you learn to embrace silence, you are no longer a reactive participant in your own life. You become deliberate. You become conscious. You become strong. Think about how quickly words are spoken and how slowly their consequences appear. A single impulsive phrase can fracture relationships, spark regret, and erode trust. But silence allows you to step back, breathe, and see the full picture. It gives you the chance to decide if your words will create or destroy, to measure their impact before they leave your lips. Leaders, psychologists, and thinkers all recognize the value of restraint. Those who speak less often, but with purpose, command attention. Those who pause before responding navigate life with clarity and authority. Silence is not avoidance. It is mastery. Every pause you take builds a reservoir of self-control. Each moment you resist the urge to speak without thought strengthens your ability to respond with precision and purpose. It trains your mind to weigh consequence, to balance emotion with reason, and to act deliberately rather than impulsively. You are cultivating a discipline that transforms not just your speech, but your character. Your presence becomes intentional. Your interactions become meaningful. People begin to notice the difference. They sense a calm authority in your words because each one has been chosen with care and each one carries weight. Silence also protects your energy. Words spoken carelessly drain the mind, stir conflict, and create tension. Words spoken with awareness conserve power, preserve respect, and build influence. When you hold back the unnecessary, when you refuse to speak for the sake of venting or impressing, you preserve your focus, your clarity, and your momentum. You become a force that is not scattered but concentrated, not reactive but proactive. To create an internal environment where wisdom, courage, and patience can flourish. Embracing silence is not about being emotionless. It is about being intelligent with emotion. Anger, frustration, fear, and impatience will still arise, but they no longer dictate your behavior. When you pause, observe, and choose, you assert mastery over the strongest forces in your life, your impulses, and your words. Every interaction becomes a chance to demonstrate strength, thoughtfulness, and self-respect. You are no longer a victim of your own reactions. You are the architect of your presence, the curator of your influence, the pilot of your own destiny. Imagine the confidence that comes from knowing your words are intentional, deliberate, and powerful. Imagine the peace that comes from no longer needing to apologize for thoughtless speech. Imagine the respect you command when people sense that every word you speak is chosen, weighed, and meaningful. Silence is the foundation of this power. It is the space where clarity is born, where wisdom is nurtured, and where influence takes root. To master silence is to master the first layer of control over your words, and through that, control over your life itself. Every moment you embrace it, you step closer to the person you are capable of becoming. Every pause you take is a step toward freedom. Your words are tools, and like any tool, they have a purpose. They are not meant to be thrown carelessly into the world, hoping for some unseen effect. They are meant to shape, to build, to influence, to inspire. Every word you speak carries energy, and that energy either constructs or destroys. When you speak with purpose, you align your voice with your intentions, your values, and the life you are determined to create. This is the moment when speech becomes more than communication. It becomes creation. Each phrase you utter can plant a seed of hope, courage, or clarity in someone else's mind, or it can plant doubt, fear, and conflict. You hold that choice in your hands every single day. To speak with purpose, you must first examine the intent behind your words. Ask yourself before you speak, is this helpful? Is this kind? Is this necessary? Too often we speak to release tension, to react to emotion, or to satisfy our pride. But those words rarely serve anyone well. They satisfy a moment, but they damage futures. Words spoken with intention, on the other hand, carry weight and they create influence. They build trust, they inspire action, and they convey respect. Purposeful speech transforms not only how others perceive you, but how you perceive yourself. Each intentional word reinforces discipline, clarity, and control. It is a reflection of your inner strength, your values, and your self-respect. Purposeful speech is about more than avoiding harm. It is about actively creating good. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to contribute, to teach, to uplift, to guide. You have the chance to encourage someone struggling, to clarify confusion, to motivate action. Single sentence, chosen carefully, can change the course of a day, a relationship, or even a life. Science shows that words have measurable effects on emotions and behavior. Positive, deliberate words increase dopamine, strengthen motivation, and reinforce trust. Negative, careless words trigger stress, defensiveness, and emotional withdrawal. The choice is yours. and it matters more than most people realize. When you begin to speak with purpose, you notice a shift in yourself. You feel lighter because you no longer carry the burden of thoughtless words. You feel stronger because your voice commands attention and respect. You notice the subtle changes in how people respond. They listen more intently, they trust more deeply, they feel the weight and care in your words. Influence is not something you demand, it is something you earn through intentional action. And your words are the primary currency of that influence. Speaking with purpose also transforms the way you think. When you begin to weigh your words, you begin to weigh your thoughts. You become more conscious of your inner dialogue, more aware of the patterns that shape your decisions and emotions. You start to filter negativity before it manifests, to clarify confusion before it spreads, to align every sentence with your highest intentions. The discipline of purposeful speech becomes a mirror for personal mastery. The more intentional your words, the more intentional your life becomes. Every day presents countless opportunities to speak without thought or to speak with purpose. The difference between the two is the difference between chaos and control, between regret and pride, between a life of reaction and a life of mastery. You are capable of choosing the latter. You are capable of using your words to shape reality, to influence, and to inspire. Every phrase you speak with intention brings you closer to the life you envision, the relationships you desire, and the person you are destined to become. Your words are not just sounds, they are instruments of transformation. And when used with purpose, they carry the power to create the life you were meant to live. Emotions are powerful, but uncontrolled emotions are dangerous. Anger, fear, jealousy, frustration, they all have the potential to hijack your voice and undo everything you are working to build. The difference between speaking destructively and speaking with influence lies in mastering your emotional triggers. Every time you feel a surge of impulse, it is a test, a chance to respond rather than react, to choose control over chaos. When you give in to emotion, you hand over your power. When you take a breath, pause, and choose, you reclaim it. Your words no longer serve momentary satisfaction, they serve long-term growth, impact, and purpose. Understanding your triggers is the first step toward mastery. Notice when anger rises, when frustration tightens your chest, when fear tugs at your tongue. These are not weaknesses, they are signals. They are warnings that, if ignored, could lead to regret, conflict, or failure. But they are also opportunities. Every time you recognize a trigger and choose to respond with clarity, you strengthen your control. You build the muscle that separates those who are ruled by their impulses from those who command their reality. You begin to realize that mastery of emotion is mastery of your words, and mastery of your words is mastery of your life. Techniques for managing emotional triggers are simple, but they require discipline. Pausing for a breath, counting to 3, reframing negative thoughts, or visualizing the impact of your words. These are not tricks. They are tools of transformation. They shift your brain from reactive to proactive, from chaos to intention. Science confirms that even brief moments of reflection before speaking reduce stress, increase clarity, and improve communication. Every pause you take is a small victory, a step toward becoming the person you aspire to be. Every intentional response reinforces your strength, your presence, and your influence. Mastering your emotions also protects your relationships. Words spoken in anger can linger far longer than the moment that sparked them. They can erode trust, instill fear, and create distance. But words spoken with calm, even in tense situations, build bridges, diffuse tension, and inspire respect. People sense the difference. They recognize when your voice is guided by control rather than reaction. They respond to the authority of intentional speech. And in those moments, your influence grows. Not because of volume or force, but because of wisdom and restraint. Controlling your emotional triggers is not about suppression. It is about awareness and choice. You do not deny your feelings, but you refuse to let them dictate your actions. You recognize the power within yourself to pause, reflect, and speak with intention. Each moment of restraint becomes a declaration. You are the master of your voice. You are the author of your influence. You are the architect of your destiny. The emotions that once threatened to control you now serve you, guiding your words instead of hijacking them. Every instance in which you resist reactive speech, every time you respond with clarity rather than emotion, you are shaping a new reality. You are building respect, trust, and influence that cannot be taken away. You are proving to yourself that you are not defined by impulse, but by intention. Every word chosen with awareness carries the power to transform situations, to inspire action, and to create lasting impact. Mastery over your emotional triggers is mastery over your words, and mastery over your words is the foundation for a life of purpose, strength, and extraordinary freedom. Every word you speak shapes the life you are living, the relationships you are building, and the legacy you are leaving behind. Every interaction is an opportunity, and every sentence is a choice. When you speak without thought, you surrender that opportunity. When you speak with awareness, every word becomes a tool of creation. Every sentence a step toward the life you are determined to build. The power to influence, to inspire, to guide, and to transform is not reserved for a select few. It is available to you right now. Every time you choose your words deliberately, your voice is your instrument, and mastery over it requires discipline. You must treat each word with care, measure its weight, and consider its impact. Careless words fracture trust, ignite conflict, and leave regret in their wake. Thoughtful words heal, inspire, and open doors. The difference is intentionality. Every time you pause, reflect, and choose your words, you reinforce the power within you to shape reality rather than be shaped by it. Your speech becomes a reflection of your values, your strength, and your purpose. It is a mirror of the person you are determined to become. Imagine a life where your words no longer betray you, where your voice commands respect, where people sense the weight of your intention before you even speak. This life is possible. It begins with conscious practice. Notice the moments when you are about to speak out of habit, emotion, or insecurity. Stop. Breathe. Consider the impact of your words. Ask yourself if they will build or break, encourage or discourage, heal or harm. This pause, this conscious choice, is the foundation of influence, the bedrock of trust, and the path to respect. It is also the gateway to your own inner peace. Your words do not only affect others, they affect you. Speaking without control leaves you restless, burdened with regret, and constantly reacting to consequences you could have avoided. Speaking with control, on the other hand, strengthens confidence, sharpens clarity, and deepens self-respect. Every measured word reinforces the belief that you are in command of yourself, your emotions, and your life. You begin to see that power does not come from volume or force. It comes from restraint, precision, and purpose. Every time you choose intention over impulse, you are proving that you are capable of more than reaction. You are capable of mastery. The impact of controlled speech ripples outward. Your words shape the way others perceive you, how they respond to you, and how they trust you. Respect is built in silence when it is paired with thoughtful speech. Influence grows when people feel the weight of your intention. Relationships flourish when every sentence communicates care, clarity, and thoughtfulness. The energy you invest in controlling your speech compounds, creating an environment where every interaction becomes an opportunity for growth, understanding, and connection. This is the life you are capable of creating. A life where every word matters. A life where your voice inspires, motivates, and uplifts. A life where you are no longer a victim of impulsive speech or fleeting emotion. Mastery over your words is mastery over your reality. It allows you to construct the life you desire, to leave the mark you intend, and to become the person you were meant to be. Your words are not just expressions, they are instruments of transformation. And when wielded with awareness, they have the power to shape everything around you and within you. Every moment offers you a choice. Every conversation, every interaction, every sentence is a chance to either surrender to impulse or rise into intentionality. The life you are building is the sum of these choices. Words are the bridge between your inner world and the outer world, and mastering them is mastering yourself. Each word you speak deliberately reinforces your strength, your clarity, and your presence. Each word spoken without thought diminishes your influence, fragments your focus, and leaves you bound to consequence. The power to shape your reality lies not in chance, not in circumstance, but in the conscious control of your speech. Your words are the architects of your destiny. They define how others see you, how you see yourself, and how you navigate every challenge, every opportunity, every relationship. When you speak carelessly, the world shapes you in ways you cannot control. When you speak with awareness, you become the sculptor of your own life. You begin to notice the subtle changes, the trust earned, the respect gained, the influence quietly growing around you. People respond differently when you speak with intention. Doors open where they once closed. Conversations shift from chaos to clarity. Influence replaces argument. The quality of your life and the lives of those around you rises with every word carefully chosen. The practice of controlling your speech is also the practice of self-mastery. Every pause before speaking, every moment of reflection, every question asked of yourself before words escape strengthens your discipline. You are training your mind to weigh consequence, your heart to temper emotion, and your voice to reflect purpose. Impulsive speech diminishes control, but intentional speech amplifies it. It builds a life where clarity guides your decisions, integrity shapes your interactions, and wisdom underpins every expression. You begin to realize that true power is not loud, not forceful, not reactive. It is quiet, precise, and deliberate. The words you choose today echo into tomorrow. They become habits, and habits become character. Character becomes reputation, influence, and legacy. Imagine a life where each word you speak carries intention, where your voice is trusted, respected, and heard. Imagine living without the weight of regret, without the damage of thoughtless speech, without the frustration of words that betray your highest self. That life is possible. It is within reach. It begins with awareness and grows with practice. Each sentence spoken deliberately strengthens your confidence, sharpens your clarity, and elevates your presence in ways that ripple far beyond your perception. Control over your words transforms your relationships. It deepens trust, fosters connection, and builds influence. People sense when your words are chosen carefully. They sense when your voice is guided by intention rather than impulse. Respect is earned, loyalty is nurtured, and influence grows naturally. Your words become instruments of impact, shaping not only your life, but the lives of everyone around you. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance or emotion. You are the commander of your interactions, the curator of your influence, and the architect of the life you envision. The mastery of your speech is mastery of your life. Every intentional word builds the life you desire, strengthens the relationships you value, and shapes the person you are becoming. You are capable of immense influence, profound clarity, and unwavering presence. Your voice is a tool of transformation. When wielded with awareness, it carries power beyond measure. It shapes reality, inspires action, and creates impact. The life you want begins not with events or opportunities. It begins with the words you choose to speak today. Every sentence, every pause, every conscious choice brings you closer to the freedom, respect, and purpose you are capable of achieving. Your words are the gateway. Your mastery begins now.